Hello everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Innocent, as usual, and today is a beautiful day. Sorry, I've come late than the time that I had communicated, and I also want to uh, feel sorry about the sound. As a farmer, some of the things we do them. All right, I really want to apologize for last weekend. We did not have our live stream just like we expected, because of some situations that were uh, beyond my control. I apologize for the inconvenience to those that were offended. Now, today we're going to talk about gender equality. Gender equality, what do we know? What do we know about gender? What is the statistics of gender in Uganda? What do we understand by gender? And it is of no surprise that different people have it in a different way, but what is the right meaning of the word gender as it's stipulated in Sustainable Development Goal? What is the understanding? So I will welcome all of you that will be online. We share together. You can send in a request. I think it has been rectified, and you can send in a request if you have some contribution, and it's all welcome. Then two, you can type in. People will be following it, and we see how we can increase this awareness. For those that are joining us for the first time, we agreed that this year we want to increase the awareness of the SDGs, because not all people know what SDGs are. How are we accountable as the public, as people? So I think when we increase this awareness, several people will know what SDGs are, and this will help them. My brother Alex, you're welcome. And they will know what SDGs are and what they are all about, how they are supposed to involve themselves in SDGs, and this will be quite helpful. So, if we talk about gender, what do you understand? What do you get? What comes to your mind? Before even we look about gender equality, we're going to emphasize about certain things like feminism. What is feminism? How is it different from gender? So all these things are going to be discussed this afternoon. So if we talk about gender, what do you understand? For example, when we always discuss about sustainable development goals, we always talk about the goal, then the statistics of Uganda in particular about that goal. What has Uganda done towards the fulfillment of that particular goal? What has it failed? What are the challenges it faces? Then lastly, recommendation to help Uganda in particular achieve this particular goal. So when we talk about gender, if we say gender is the social and the cultural construct, the concept of gender involves the expectation held about the roles and the behaviors of women and men. The expectations are learned. For example, if we talk about what the society expects of a man and a woman, that is gender. But all these are subject to what we think, what all of us think. Now, I got some abstract from UBOS, and this is a report that they made about gender in 2013, December, in support with UN Joint Program on Gender Equality and Women Empowerment. Yes, so the statistics, most of the statistics that I'll be giving this afternoon about gender and gender equality and what we're going to discuss, I'm going so much to refer to this report that was made by Uganda Bureau of Statistics in December 2013. All right, so the socially and cultural construct, the expectation of a man and a woman basically would be meant as gender. Now, when we talk of gender analysis, we are looking at the critical examination of how difference in gender roles, activities, needs, opportunities, rights that affect men and women, girls and boys in a certain situation or context. Now, when we talk about gender analysis, we try to examine the relationship between the females and males and their access to control of resources. Are we together? So, as you come on, Yvonne, you're welcome. Collins, you're welcome. Alex, I'm seeing you guys online. Now, when we talk about gender analysis, we're trying to know what is the difference in terms of the gender roles, the activities, the opportunities, the needs, the rights that affect men, women, girls, and boys. And also a factor about their access to resource and control of these particular resources. Basically, that is what we will call as gender analysis. Now, our SDG today is gender equality. What is gender equality? And when we try to get from UBOS try to say that gender equality refers to a situation where individuals of both sexes are free to develop their personal ability and make choices without the limitation imposed by strict gender roles. In other words, it implies that females and males have equal rights, freedoms, conditions, opportunities for realizing their full potential and for contributing to the benefit and benefiting from the economic, social, cultural, political development. Let's take it deeper to our brothers and sisters. All your submissions, please, are welcome about gender. Let's assume, according to gender equality, it is not entirely about women, but it's a situation where both sexes are free to develop their potential, their ability. They can make choice without being limited, imposed without a limitation or an imposition of who they are according to their sex. Let's assume someone wants to go to work. They shouldn't be stopped because they are women. I'm assuming. This is now gender. Let's draw a situation. Someone wants to go in for leadership. And they are told, no, because you're a lady, you shouldn't go in for leadership. Because you're a man, you shouldn't go in for leadership. Of course, now when we talk about gender, there is, ahead there, I'm going to discuss something about called affirmative action. Now, affirmative action tries to show those that were formerly deprived of their rights that are brought now to board. So, what do you understand about gender? Yvonne, I want to get your submission about gender. Gender equality, where do you think is our statistics as a country about gender? We've seen some adverts where organizations, mostly the NGO world, they pose and say women are encouraged to apply. Yeah? What do they bring about when they tell you, when they post and say women are encouraged to apply? What comes to your mind? When we talk about gender issues are these issues that affect one gender more than the other. So when we come ahead of there and we're talking about gender issues, that means there are particular issues that are affecting one sex as compared to others. I need to know, what do you think some of these issues are? What do you think is Uganda's stand about these issues? What do you think as the government of Uganda and as a country, as Africa, as the world has done towards the realization of these issues? What are still the challenges that are affecting the implementation of gender or the realization of this goal? And what do you think are the remedies that Uganda can do to ensure, or Africa can do, or the world can do to ensure that there is gender equality? I need your submissions towards this. Okay, now, when we try to go a little bit to some of, according to UBOS, they try to show what, not about gender statistics. And they say gender statistics are defined as statistics that adequately reflect differences and inequalities in the situation of women and men in the areas of life. They say gender statistics have to reflect gender issues, questions, problems, and concerns related to all aspects of women and men's life, including their specific needs, opportunities, and contribution. Now, lastly, before I welcome many opinions, please, you can keep them coming, but lastly, I wanted us to note something here. When we talk about sex, it refers to the biological differences between men and women, biologically. So sex is not gender. No. When we talk of sex, that is a man, that is a woman, basically we are talking about the biological differences between men and women. These differences are universal and do not change between culture. In other words, a society can't determine and predict or change someone's sex. No. But a society can determine someone's responsibility. I hope we're together on that. Now, when we talk about mainstreaming, we are looking at a gender perspective in the process of, in gender perspective, mainstreaming is a process of assessing the implication of women and men of any planned action, including legislation, policies, or programs in any area at all levels. In other words, it is a strategy of making the concerns and the experience of women as well as for men an integral part of the design, implementation, monitoring, evaluation of policies and programs in all political, economic, and social spheres, so that women and men benefit equally and equally, and inequality is not perpetuated. Now, having seen at these key things that UBOS tries to explain in its report of December 2013, when we talk of mainstreaming, we are looking at a strategy of making women and men concerns integrated in all planning, implementing, monitoring, and evaluation of any program, policy, or strategy or project of government, of societies, of NGOs, and in the world. All right. Now we are seeing so many, let's come back to Uganda in particular as a case study. We're seeing so many women taking up leadership positions. Unlike before, with due respect, there are women that I'm going to quote. We've seen them in top leadership positions. We've seen them influence so much in the country, or in terms of program or policy or project. We've seen their voices be heard. The women we look and they have been of great impact to the girl child, maybe. Does this mean we don't have gender equality? It's a question to all those that are watching like this live stream. We've seen the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament. We see the Executive Director of UNRWA, recently the Executive Director of KCCA. We see the Executive Director of Uganda Revenue Authority. So many. Okay, maybe these top positions, I've mentioned a few that I could recall. You can tell me others. Now, they are into leadership positions. They can make a choice. They can make a decision. What do you think is their contribution to this particular goal. What do you think in relation to that and this goal? What comes to your mind when you know of their positions? All right, now to a country. The fact is, the population of Uganda, the last population and house census was conducted, according to UBOS Report 2013, was conducted in 2002. Therefore, the current figures are estimated from census projections and related surveys finding covering the period of 2002 and 2013. Now, the past 9 census indicated that the population of Uganda has consistently grown since the first census conducted in 1911. And here we're trying to see that the population size of Uganda has been increasing for both male and female over years. Now, according to UBOS report, they try to give a picture of the population of men and women. And I beg to give us this small statistics so that we can proceed. When we start from, let's just give the one of 1991 to 2002, according to UBOS report, the annual average growth rate. We are seeing that the population of men, the population of the growth rate, the population of men was about 12, that is 2002, please don't quote me wrong. The population of men was about 12,403,024. Then, the population of men was 11,824,273. Sorry about that. Then the population of women was 12,403,024. Now, what does this mean in the first beginning? That women are more than men, as per that statistics. I don't have the current statistics, but you would help me and see if we can have the current statistics. But I promised so that we can have statistics as we negotiate about this entire SDGs. Now, what is Uganda's contribution about this? We have seen prioritization, if I may say, initiatives to ensure we've seen affirmative actions take place in the country where as youths are being given maybe a particular hand in terms of financial access, then more goes into the women. They say groups of women that have come up with 10 and have an idea, please work on this. Groups of this, there's been this continued efforts to ensure that they formally deprived or formally not considered so much, or formally groups of people are given an extra hand so that all people have an equal access to most of the things. Previously, in those years, we would see that women would not access, I think, land. We're not supposed to own land. Back again, I think things are changing apparently. And then in leadership positions, women were not supposed to be heads or top in terms of leadership positions. So gender equality tries to say all people should have access and right to leadership, to finance, to ownership and access of resources, irrespective of their who they are. So men and women should have this equal access. But I think Uganda in particular, I think other countries as well, Uganda in particular is doing great in terms of empowering or in terms of ensuring equality, gender equality. I need several cases where you think gender equality has been mainstreamed. Thank you so much, that is the right word. Gender equality has been mainstreamed. Then afterwards we shall discuss the challenges and remedies. Now, having gotten that simple introduction about the key terms of gender equality. Yeah, Ernest, you're welcome. What is your contribution about gender equality? What do you think Uganda has done so far to ensure this SDG is realized? No, my phone is not doing so right. Yes, so what do you think Uganda has done about this gender equality? What do you think can be done? What do you think the efforts? Give me scenarios where you think Uganda has done great in terms of gender equality, in mainstreamed, because we talked about mainstreaming and we talked about the policies, we talked about the policies, the strategies, the projects that possibly Uganda and its partners have done to ensure that there is gender equality. So, give us a scenario, someone online. Yes, welcome, my brother Tony. Welcome, Ernest. What do you think Uganda has done about gender equality? We've seen jobs where they encourage women to, in particular, to apply. Actually, of late, I think there are employment opportunities where they have said females only. I don't know if someone else has seen such an advert. Yes, so any scenario, interventions, Uganda interventions about gender, as I also try to get something here from different sources. Okay. Yes, Alex, I need your submission, my brother. Okay. Give me any scenario. Okay, in Africa, in the world. Yeah. There are so many NGOs that have come up about this gender equality, about this particular SDG. Let me ask a question as people bring in. I need so many opinions. Let me ask a question. Do we still have men, and do you think it's right for men to beat up their women? Do you think this is one thing that still exists? Yeah. I have another report of UNDP Uganda, I think 2017, about gender. I really want to know more about this particular one. And UNDP, according to the UNDP resident representative Uganda, Miss Rose Malango, there is a lot that he notes about gender here that I think I will try to share to all of us. Now, he says, okay, before I maybe go to her, Alex is sharing something about gender. We shouldn't look at these figures that are already known, like Kadaga, etc., but go down to these women who do businesses in malls, agriculture, etc., and they have got opportunities of ownership, representation, etc., yet they aren't known. Okay, I think you are trying to mean we should not look to these figures of women that are into leadership positions, but go down to those who do businesses in malls, in agriculture, maybe generally in the informal sector, and they have got opportunities of ownership. Do they have opportunities of ownership and representation? Oh, okay. Yes, Alex, that is right, and you're right. And I promise to myself and those that will join me is that after these live streams about SDGs, we are going to go down on the ground and ask people about what do they know about gender equality. What do they think about equality down to the wananchi? Yes, we will even be having the barazas, community barazas, so that people give us their opinion about gender. Actually, I think next Saturday, instead of going to the next SDG, we would first have an interaction with the community in places in informal sector, and they tell us what they think about equality, gender equality. What is their opinion? How do they think they have been involved? Opportunities, have they been given an opportunity to share their competency, to share their knowledge? Meanwhile, of recently, I think 2 or 3 years back, I stand to be corrected, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, noted and said ministries headed by women are more, I stand to be corrected on this, but I think it was a more effective and efficient as compared to those that are headed by men. I don't know how realistic that is and what was the basis. I stand to be corrected to those that maybe had the same thing about when he was noting something about that. Now, I also don't want to be misquoted. We are not talking about feminism, because feminism and gender is quite different. Feminism is more of the advocacy for women's rights on the grounds of equality of the sexes. Now, it is an advocacy. In other words, actually, feminism is it's more of a political movement, ideology, and social movement that share a common goal to define, establish, and achieve political, economic, personal, and social equality of sexes. Now, basically, I think we're not discussing more about feminism. We're talking about gender equality, so that all those that are deprived, all those that feel neglected for whatever reason, basing on who they are, should be discussed here. Because feminism is quite, I think, different from this entire range. Someone sent me an inbox here. Now, what other things? Because we are personal, I've known about the jobs. Sometimes they tell you women only, so that they maybe try to give an equal opportunity to them. Then Miss Almaz Gebru, I stand to be corrected as well, the UNDP Uganda country director, also notes something about this particular one, and she says over 20 years ago, there was an action, a world action of gender equality between men and women, and it was inspired by a blueprint of women equality and women empowerment. It was called the GEWI. The Beijing Plus 20 assessment report recognizes that whilst there has been progress in achieving gender equality and women empowerment goals, this progress has been uneven and slow. According to the UNDP country director, she says that for UNDP, gender equality and the empowerment of women is an integrated part of its development mandate. And this is because gender equality is a human right issue and a driver for development progress. In its latest gender strategy, UNDP recognized gender equality both as an essential development goal on its own, and it's as vital to accessing sustainable development. Today, the gender equality results have been supported by its accountability framework that includes continued development of tools and approaches. So, welcome, Michael. Michael, we're discussing about gender equality. We want to know, what is the current status? For example, Michael from Nairobi, Kenya, what is the status of gender equality in Kenya, Nairobi? You can give us your input and see. So the UNDP Uganda country director emphasizes and says that according to UNDP, it has been integrated as part of the development mandate. Yes, so that people have equal access. People have, they are not isolated, they are not discriminated. They have a will to participate in politics, leadership, access, resources, and ownership, you know. Now, UNDP Gender Equality Seal is an innovative tool that establishes standards that link gender equality at the workplace with development results. Uganda becomes the first African country to adopt gender seal to the private sector, and 13 companies have already signed in, and more are in the progress. That is according to the country UNDP country director. The seal can also be used by public sector, and it complements the government, Ugandan government-owned gender and quality certificate. The seal is a corporate satisfaction program that recognizes the good performance of UNDP country officers in delivering the transformational result of gender equality. She says it begins with the pre-MDG era, in which UNDP supported the government of Uganda to establish an institutional mechanism for building the capacity of women leaders and a national machinery for leading and coordinating gender mainstreaming across the government. It is followed by a period of localization of global policy and planning innovations in line with MDGs, followed by an explicit commitment to gender equality and women empowerment under Agenda 2030. Yes. Now, when we try to go deeper in this report of UNDP, we try to see a certain facts and figures about gender equality in Uganda. This is beautiful. I wish I could show you exactly this. They're saying, according to this report of 2017, UNDP report 2017, the population of women is 51% and the population of men is 49%. Now, the ratio of girls to boys enrollment into primary school is 50-50. Percentage of seats held by women in parliament is 35. That means we still have a 65. We have 35, meaning we have 65 of men occupying parliament. Now that is another big difference. And according to UNDP report, it says it has 0.529 gender inequality index. However, 39% gender wage gap in the private sector. Now, these are some of the facts and figures according to UNDP. Yes, welcome, David. You're welcome. You can give us your opinion about gender statistics in Uganda. I'm trying to get some statistics, facts, and figures from UNDP. Now, we have 7.5 hours per day spent by women on unpaid care jobs per day spent. These are hours, 7.5 hours per day spent by women on unpaid care work. Meaning that their productivity, their energies is not paid for. Now, I am so much convinced that next week, at such a time, next weekend, that is, instead of our next SDG, I want us to dig deeper into this gender equality. I'm going to organize women and they share their opinion about gender equality. What do they think? What do they say? What is their contribution? What do they think about their rights? What do men think? We're going to have a cocktail. I'm going to organize next weekend and we have such an engagement. Now, UNDP goes further and says that 53% female population, 53% female proportion of economically active population. Then 90% of girls relative to boys enrolling into secondary school. Okay, I need to get more inputs about this particular one. Session 1, UNDP, remember, UNDP report 2017, institutional capacity of building gender equality. They say, the report says that the UN gender journey in Uganda is a narrative of a key contributive and milestone reached by the country office from 1988 to 2017. It begins with the pre-MDG era in which UNDP supported the government of Uganda to establish an institutional mechanism for building capacity of women leaders, for leading and coordinating gender mainstreaming across government. So, what are some of these mechanisms that Uganda is doing? Here, according to their report, Ambassador Rebecca Amuge Atengo, then the Minister of State for Northern Uganda, casts her vote during 2011 national elections. With our support, more women in Uganda are voting and participating in politics, critical to improving democratic governance in the country. So one of the participation was this, in participation of the leaders. Can someone, I mean in politics, can someone tell me, I think, were women before allowed to vote? Back again, maybe, before the support of UNDP to the government of Uganda. Were women allowed to vote by then? We had stories, I don't know if they're still there, someone would help me. We had stories that women were not allowed to take chicken, to eat chicken those times. Is it still there? Or it was meant to decide on a particular thing. It was, so you realize an affirmative action would be needed. Now, do you think it's the 35% occupancy of women in parliament is quite enough? It's a good step. It's a good step. But I think more can be done. How do you think we can do this? How can we empower, ensure women gender equality? What is your contribution? Today, I need contributions. Now, what is your contribution of gender equality? You know, and immediately after that, in just a minute, I'm going to get the challenges that still face gender equality in Uganda, and then we end with the remedy. What do you think can be done? Women in we have a group of women here, women in a community group meeting in Kotiro district to discuss how to share savings from the VSLAs. VSLAs is Village Savings Local Associations. Now, let me ask. I got an opportunity to, I always do fields. I've traveled in so many fields doing research and research. And I've realized that there is this coming up. VSLAs are doing a great job. Now, they feel worthy. Maybe women are involved. Actually, there are some groups you go, in the farmer groups when I was in Chiriandongo, I think last year, yes, when I was in Chiriandongo. And there are some groups you would find it's entirely women in them. And they are running the money. But then sometimes they tell you, no, you know what? When we get this money, the man takes charge. You know? What do you think? I want someone to help me. Give me a strategy that you think, because I really want to hold a community baraza about gender equality. I think we're not going to have the next SDG. We're going to have this particular one. But this time around, in a community, we try to know what is their input, what is their contribution about gender, what do they think about gender. Are we together? So about gender equality, how do they feel? What is their contribution? Mugisa, you're welcome. You can give us your contribution about gender subsequently. Now, the challenges that Uganda is facing, do you think this is something that all people would equally welcome or contribute to? For example, do you think Uganda has done great? I mean, where do you think are still the challenges that the country as Uganda is facing in terms of gender equality? Do you think it holds some resistance from people? Do you think we still need to do more awareness? Do you think we need to do more of the barazas, community barazas? Do you think we need to? What do you think should be done? Because we feel at some point people may not experience themselves openly. Maybe women may not experience themselves openly. Maybe they feel it's not meant for them. Maybe they feel we are not the right people to discuss about a particular thing. So what do you think should be done? What do you think is still lacking? What do you think are the challenges? Do you think men need to also to be sensitized more? Because I want to do like a focus group discussion actually, and get this particular opinion. I'll be communicating when I'll be doing one, but I also want to do like a community baraza. According to UNDP report 2017, we're seeing the UNDP administration, Helen Clark, meets with Miss Rebecca Kadaga, the Speaker of Parliament, during her 2013 visit to Uganda, and thanked her for the UNDP work towards gender budgeting. Wow. UNDP is doing a great job to ensure maybe most of the things come to the common man, come to the person down. So we need to do more of this and then see how better we can create a mainstream, which policies, which programs, because in everything we do, I said in the beginning when we were starting this SDGs that it is not entirely about the government. It's not entirely about UNDP. It's about you and me. We are part of the institutions that can contribute to this. At your workplace, where you study, where you in the community, can we raise up a banner and say, no, hey, no violence. Hey, no, let's give them an opportunity to speak. Hey, let's listen to them. How about if they owned this? You know? So I have my brother. Mugisa, Honorable. He is saying, I am glad to be here briefly, though. Somewhere in Awele and the discussion goes on, SDGs. Yes, you're welcome, my brother. We do this every Saturday at 1 p.m. We are discussing SDGs, and today we are on gender equality. But next Saturday we are going to, I'm going to go to the community. If you would love to join me, anyone who is there would love to join me in any way, participate with me. I want us to listen to the people down, because Alex said, no, we shouldn't focus on people who are on the top yet. How about people who are down? What do they think about gender equality? So we need to collect their opinion, and surely we're going to collect their opinion so that we see how better to help each other. Because now, today we are doing SDG number 5 with gender equality. We're supposed to do goal number 6, which is clean water and sanitation. Yes. That is supposed to be next Saturday, but next Saturday we are also going to do gender equality. Now we visit people, and they tell us their contribution about what they think, what they know, what is their role. We need to know what are our roles. What should we be done? What should we do? Me and you. What should we do to ensure there is gender equality? So I need opinions. Do you think we need to go to the fields? Do you think, do you know of any connection? Do you know of other people that are doing the same? Can we create a chain of endless awareness and campaign about gender equality? Yes, I think we're going to zero so much on this goal before we go to another goal of clean water and sanitation. That is goal number 6. So, as I come to the conclusion of this live stream, gender equality is not entirely about feminism. Affirmative action is just trying to bring people back, those that were formerly deprived, or those that were formerly not considered, or those that were formerly that feel their rights were not given due consideration. So 2013 we are going to review the SDGs. My appeal to you and me is that by the time they review, these goals are reviewed, we should put a stone. We should put our contribution. We should do it just like other partners are doing it. I really want to appreciate UNDP. It's doing a great job about this particular one. So we should also do our contribution. We should put a stone. You meet something is wrong, speak about it. You see something is not going right, speak about it. Are we together? So that by 2050, we have a contribution. You can stand to be counted. You made a contribution about an awareness of this particular goal. Your contribution, not entirely about government. To the men that are out there, you don't have to beat her. That is gender violence. You beat her up, you deny her a right of medication, you deny her right of food. I don't think it is right. Personally, I don't think it's right. Awareness so that we grow together. Our economy needs their input. When I was in Masindi still last year, the leaders told us, the community, the LC chairman, would tell me, the reason as to why we are not realizing so much of the growth in our agriculture sector is because the women are the ones that do more of the agriculture, but yet they are not involved in the ownership and the access of the things. That means they don't feel part and parcel of it. Without this in place, possibly it will deter our development. It will slow down the growth. Are we together? So, I welcome you together. I welcome you on Saturday next week, as I will be going to either Kasokoso or Chiganda. Now, these are local areas. And I will try to involve the leaders so that we have a community baraza with them. And they speak about gender. We ask them a few questions. They give us their contribution and how better we can do. Possibly, someone will pick up from here and we broaden the network and make it better and bigger. We are looking forward for the realization of these SDGs come 2030. Thank you so much, all those that have viewed, contributed, and those that will see. Please make a stone, contribute. We must ensure the realization of gender equality at all times and by all means possible. And I still remain and say, gender equality, it refers to gender equality. It refers to the situation where individuals of both sexes are free to develop their personal ability make a choice without intimidation or limiting or being limited or being imposed or stopped or declined by what we call gender roles. It implies that females and males have equal rights, freedom, conditions, and opportunity of realizing their full potential for contributing to and benefiting from economic, social, cultural, and political development. So whenever there is any who is being limited from contributing to the economic, social, cultural, and political development, that means we are not realizing it is gender inequality. So they should be allowed to contribute and even benefit. So if they can't benefit from the social composition, from the political composition equally, there's still a problem. You and me, we can do a difference for God and my country.